I'm just kind of keeping an eye on this this little burst of glory here that looks like it keeps coming through the northeast sky. Um, because here it's mid-afternoon in Kentucky, and of course the sun is right back behind me. It's almost like it's a light source of its own. And I was thinking about my oldest son, Jordan, when he was young. He used to always point up to the sky when he would see a plane go over or a helicopter, and he would say, "I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to fly." And he was so young. And so when he was about, I would say, about a year and a half old, maybe close to 2 even, there was a friend of mine that worked with me that used to be in the British Navy. And he had his own little plane, a little private plane that you could only fit a couple of people in the cockpit and a couple of people in the back seat, so to speak. And I remember one day we went out flying, and it was on a Sunday afternoon and really pretty up in the sky, similar to how it is today, a very clear day. And we only flew about, I don't know, probably about 1,000 miles over the city, and things look different from that view. And a lot of times, except on takeoff or landing, you don't get to see the bird's eye view, so to speak, so much, because you're so far up in the clouds when you're cruising at, like, say, 30,000 feet altitude, to where obviously you're going to see more of that city that you're approaching or taking off from on takeoff and landing. But in either case, I remember the first time I was, my husband was in the cockpit with the pilot, who was my friend, and my son Jordan and I were in the back seat of this plane. And when we first took off, we were going down the runway. It was the first time Jordan had been in a plane. And when he realized that we were airborne, he said, "Mommy, we're flying, we're flying." And the look on his face, I promise you, a tear slipped out of my eye. And I thought to myself, Lord, if I live to be 100, or I've heard people say when your life passes before your eyes, right before death, that would be one of the pictures that I would see, that would flash before my eyes if the Lord is to tarry and my death occurs before the rapture. Because it was so beautiful to me. And I don't mean to seem sentimental, guys, but my son has been in the medical profession all of his life and been in medical school for years and years now. And he's nearly 30, or will be in a few months, should the Lord tarry. And he's always been, he started out working the emergency room, and he was an RN. And then he's worked his way up from there. And then he was a flight medic on the helicopters and still is, but he also is a trainer and instructor for them, and doesn't get quite as much flight time as he used to, even just a few brief months ago. So that's been his job basically this calendar year. So it's really a promotion for him. But for several years he was up in that helicopter, and of course the first responder, medical helicopter transport, and the things they see, guys, on the daily basis. You know, my youngest son has his bachelor's degree in paramedicine, and so he's on the ground in an ambulance every day. And then my daughter, my middle child, the one who's due now any day with her first child, likes about a semester to be an RN herself. And so they've all chosen to help other people and to save lives. But just yesterday, and I knew Jordan had been working on this because he had said that more than likely he would have his pilot's license by August. because it's something that he wanted to accomplish. And sure enough, it was the last day of August, and he had put a picture that he had sent to me. I got my wings, Mom. You know? So, he got his wings, guys. We're going to get our wings soon. And we're all going to fly. We'll meet Jesus in the clouds, just like the book of Thessalonians says. I just thought that I'd share that story with you guys, because I try not to make it about me. It's kind of hard not to share some of our testimony in our lives. We try to be as transparent as possible, or I believe that most of our brothers and sisters here on YouTube are very transparent and share much of the details of their lives with others. And I've never been like one to be cryptid or shady about those kind of things. I try to say them out loud, and yet I don't like it to be all about me, and I don't want to give the appearance of being prideful, but I am proud that my kids are, you know, they're born again and they know Jesus and praise his holy name, and that's what's important. Not all the letters after their names or how many college degrees that they acquire. And all glory be to God, not even the lives that they save, because that's up to the good Lord. But I just thought that this might mean something to you guys today, because to me, from that 1-year-old or 1.5-year-old little boy, Mommy, we're flying, to getting his wings yesterday, I think is the sign. And I think that the Lord does give us, I know I've heard some people call it a flirt or a little shout out. It's like a personal sign. It's not something we ask for, but this has been 30 years in the making. And to me, I'll take it as a sign that we're close. And I hope that this means something else to someone out there. I feel my heart on this, guys. It's going to be soon, and I don't know the day or hour, and I don't know things like that. We prophesy in part, but to me, this was a very strong sign that the things that we've waited for, our blessed hope, and the things that we long for with all of our heart are soon to take place, and we will fly. And right up there in those clouds is where we're going to meet Jesus, right after the dead in Christ rise first. So be blessed today, guys, and abiding in the peace and the sound mind and the love that only Christ can give. And if you don't know him, call on him today. Ask him to reveal himself to you. And he will. And you can fly with us. It's a promise. And all of his promises are faithful and true. I love you guys.